Well, today's reel is a model 1850 Shakespeare reel that I chose to do my first reel restoration on. And this reel is from back in the 1950s by this date code here, model FJ. 1952 would be that date code. So this particular one is made in Canada, and it says, if you can read that, spinning reel. Not really a spinning reel by today's definition, but it's more of a spinning reel / spin cast reel. And it's kind of an anomaly in a lot of respects, because you look at it and you say, well, how's the dang thing work? Well, for one thing, it hangs upside down like a regular spinning reel on your fishing rod, and there's no button there to press to let the line out. The line doesn't come out. But also, there's this sleeve right here is the anti-reverse sleeve. So to cast this reel, you have to push this in, turn it backwards, and then it puts it into free spool. And then to get the line to release, you have to reel backwards until you feel it stop. And then it puts it into cast mode, where the line just pays right out. Then to start reeling in, well, you just start reeling in like normal, or put it in anti-reverse and let her click away. She makes the funniest clicking sound, but that's basically how it works. And then also the drag, well, it's not obvious. There's no star, there's no adjustment there, but turns out that the cap on this reel is the drag. The more you twist it out, the less drag. Let's put this on. Let's see here. Maybe I can. There. You twist it in to increase the drag. Well, the drag's not quite a bit untwisted. Okay, there you feel the drag coming out. Twist it in a little more. More drag. A little more. Reeling. But it's got to be in anti-reverse mode for the drag to work. And take the cap off here. Oh, just a second here. Okay, pull it off gently. This felt ring inside the cap here is the main part of the drag system. If you look, this is what causes the friction of the cap to ride on this lip. Camera here. Ride on this lip here to provide the friction for the drag. And then also the you reeling in, well, it's got a oscillating mechanism inside here that goes up and down to lay the line flat on the spool. This is old line, so you have to bear with me here. So that's pretty much it as far as how it basically works. Here's the line pickup. Oh, let me show you that. When it goes into cast mode, this drops down. Back up. There, it drops down to let the line pay out. Then when you start reeling back in, well, it comes back up. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to tear this reel down as far as I can and then get it ready for painting. There's a lot of scratched up paint on here, and it needs a new paint job. I'm going to try to match this paint color as closely as possible and see how that ends up. Okay, well, first things first, grab a screwdriver here and come on. Pull the spinner head off. Comes off pretty easy. Pull it right off. There it is. And then pull the spool off. Sometimes these are all locked up and they're really hard to get off. Sometimes they tend to corrode on, but fortunately this one's really clean. It came off really easy, just slid right off, which is really nice. Less to worry about and wrestle around with. And I'm going to put this felt ring in a safe spot because these things are really fragile. And this one's really old. It's like almost 70 years old. Yeah, well, it is 70 years old, actually. So, wind this line back up and set this aside. All right, got the cap ready to do some work on. Next thing, pull the, oh, that's already loose. Pull the crank off. Crank, it's got a little star washer there. Oh. Man, is that in nice condition? Holy cow. Look at that. A little cleanup on that. Alright. Next thing. Pull out the axle. That will be the next challenge here. And I will small screwdriver bit, really little one. Gone. Take off the side plates. Well, basically on this reel, the only thing that's really going to need paint is the body here, nose cap, and the two side plates. Come on. clean. Pretty clean. Man. Looks like making my job easy. I think this reel, I know this reel, it came from eastern South Dakota, around Sioux Falls, and I believe, judging from the heavy line that's on that spool, looks like about 15-20 pound test. Probably used in a little bit of river fishing for catfish. That would be my guess. This is the 1850. Was the heavier duty version of the 1800, which is another underspin reel that Shakespeare was making at the time. And that particular one, the 1800, was made in the United States. I believe it. Oops. Let's do this. I believe it was made in the Kalamazoo factory in Michigan. Don't know why this one was made in Canada. That's the only really Shakespeare reel that I know of that was made in Canada. But there could be more. I'm not sure. Get that out. Here's the crosswind block. It's got to come out. That seems interesting. Alright, see here. Oh no, let's hold that. These little brass screws out. Come on. The last thing you want to do is strip out a brass screw. That would not be good. Alright, good, got it going. There. That one off. Now what your main goal here is when you're doing a repaint on a reel is to get as many parts off the reel, as many removable parts off, and then you end up having to mask the rest. Alright, lift that off. Kind of a handy way of doing it. Got a little bit of oil on that, I know. Go wipe that off. Alright, well, I think I'll put these screws back in here just so I don't lose them. I'm always afraid of losing screws. It's never a good thing when you're dealing with antique reels and losing a part by accident. That's not good. Yeah, let's put this back in here, just loose. Put it in loose. There we go. It's a nicely machined little part. The other reel I've seen that on is the Shakespeare 1800, which is almost identical internally to the 1850, except it's a little lighter duty reel. Alright. Get a little bit of, clean that off a little bit and see if I can pull this out. Ah, yes. Now, when you're doing a restoration, you got to ask yourself, how far do you want it to go? How far do you want your restoration to go? Do you want to make it look pristine, absolutely like it rolled right out of the factory? Which is something to aspire to, but not always reasonable, because there's always going to be some kind of tarnish. I mean, look at this. There's a little bit of tarnish in the steel here. You'll never see it unless you're a real picky person and want to know, well, did you really restore it or did you just refurbish it? Well, a lot of times when people say they're restoring things, they're just really refurbishing. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like if you wanted to paint this a different color, or try to closely match, that's fine. It all depends on how picky a person is. Now this a little tricky. Got to pull that ratchet out. Wipe that off. Got to remember, there's a shim in there. Don't lose the shim. All right, now that should just fall right out. Yep. Clean that up a little bit. Okay. Well, that looks pretty clean. But my hands are getting dirty. Depending on what happened. Okay, so we got that to paint, that to paint, that to paint. And let's see what we can do here. And then pull the sleeve off somehow. Okay, got that. Put these all together. I'll clean this later. And put the spring in there. Put the spring in there too. Alright, so they're all in the same order they came out. Yay. Alright, look at this. Now, clean the grease off. Of course, when you're looking at a repaint, you got to ask yourself, well, how intact is the old paint, and can I just paint over it? Well, some paint, this looks like just your plain old garden variety industrial enamel. I don't think it was even baked on it, but it's not the type of paint that could stay on forever. It looked like it was easily chipped off, and it's bonded to aluminum too. So generally on these older reels, they only got like one shot of paint before assembly, and they called that good. And it sufficed. I mean, look at how much is left after, 70 years, and that paint's still on there. I think the guy that had this before, probably his grandpa or great grandpa's reel, and he probably took pretty good care of it. And probably dropped it on a few rocks or bounced around in the back of the car or in the trunk a little bit, but for the most part, the paint is still shiny. Okay, now this piece here is staked in place and it's not going anywhere, so this particular piece will have to be masked off. Any place where you got there's bright shiny metal and you don't want paint going on it, well then you gotta just get out the masking tape and start doing the masking thing. So anyway, this teardown was easy compared to other reels I've done. So, 4 pieces. Now this will have to be masked off here, obviously, and the threads and screw holes, and I don't know if the pinion bearing. I probably got to mask off. Probably clean the grease out of the pinion gear. And it probably could be taken off. I don't know if that pinion gear could be taken off or not. I guess I really don't want to find out. I'll just clean all the grease out of there and mask it. Got to mask this anyway. So I'll clean that up. And little drag clickers. Oh look! I can take the drag clicker off. Well, be darned. I think I will. Most of those are riveted in place. This one's screwed in. I always thought they were riveted. Obviously not. Huh. I'll be dead. Okay. Like that. Now, oh, look at that. Look at that. Nope. That's not going anywhere. I don't know if this can be pulled off or not. It is. That is staked in. That is staked in. Well, this gets good degreasing and for the paint job. And gonna have to do a little bit of, I don't know if I'm gonna strip this or sand it. Let's see how stripping works first, and then if that fails, we'll go the sanding route. Sand everything on every place you see nicks and stuff. Sand that down smooth, and then paint right over it. So we'll see what happens here. Clean the dirt. So relatively clean. I kind of like that. It's going to be a somewhat easy thing to do. Oh, look at that! I got grease on my work surface. Didn't want to do that, but hey, it happens. All right. That's about that. That's